How you going, people? Smokey's stalking this. You see Smokey? He's stalking a little rabbit right back there. So he's got his eye on it. I'm gonna mess up his program if he tries to get it. But first I'm gonna talk about this case, which is pretty interesting. Michelle Carter. So Michelle, a lot of people have asked me about this knife too, by the way. Man, this is a great knife. If I don't have a gun on me for some reason, I always have this knife. I'm telling you, I did a knife review on it. You can check it out, the Ultimate Knife. I love it. I always carry it. The only thing that I complain about maybe is the metal kind of scrapes against some if I hit it. But other than that, when this thing comes out, it's fast, it's open fast, and it's a great knife. So I get a lot of questions about that. But anyway, I digress. Michelle Carter. So Michelle Carter here, moved back, this wind finally started blowing out here. It's hot. It's like 100 degrees out, but there's a nice breeze out right now, so it's cooling off. So Michelle Carter, 17-year-old girl, just got convicted of manslaughter of her quasi-boyfriend, and he committed suicide, and they found her guilty of manslaughter because she was texting him when he committed suicide. Now, when I first heard this, I was like, man, this is kind of government overreach. I'm not a fan of this. You know, if you can start being charged with a crime because you happen to be texting or talking to somebody and they commit a crime, now all of a sudden you got culpability and you go to prison. So when I first read the article, I was kind of like, man, I don't know about this. But then 48 Hours just did a special on her. I was going to include this in one of my news things on some different news that happened. And then 48 Hours comes on and they're doing a briefing on this whole case. And now, man, she should be found guilty. So there was a lot of errors in this case that I think her defense made. One is they picked a judge. Now there's a theory, and I go over this before. They say if you're innocent and you know you didn't do something, you should pick a judge instead of a jury. Because the jury won't know the law, the jury will get only partial information, the judge will know things that the jury may not be allowed to know. And since the judge knows more, if you're truly innocent, you're better off picking a judge instead of a jury. And anybody who goes to trial can say, I don't want a jury, I waive it, I want a judge. Most people want a jury because your odds are significantly increased. You only have to convince one person out of 12 that they think you're innocent. So this attorney thought his client was so innocent that he advised her, pick a judge, forget a jury. If we get a jury, they may play on the heartstrings, they may feel bad for the victim, they'll see the mom up there crying about her dead son, and they may convict you. So let's pick a judge, because no way you should be convicted. You weren't even there, you didn't help him, there's no way they can convict you. Well, she got convicted. Now, I'm pretty sure this is probably going to be appealed, but it's still a pretty landmark case, and I think it's on pretty solid ground. So what did she text him? Her texts were pretty egregious. They were malicious, they were mean. I think the judge called them malicious and vicious. So he's calling her, and supposedly they're both have been on antidepressants for years. She's got some anorexic, whatever, some problem with her identity. He's got some problem with his identity. Probably both want their own damn bathroom with this freaking liberal PC college in Massachusetts running around. They're probably so damn confused. Nobody knows what the hell a man's supposed to do or a woman's supposed to do. Otherwise you get called for being sexist, bigot, whatever. So none of that had any problem that we got all these freaking kids on antidepressants. But I digress. To the case and matter, she sent messages to him encouraging him to kill himself. Not only did she encourage him, she was saying things like, don't worry about your family, they'll get over it. And so she texted all these. Now, while she's texting, he's saying, I'm kind of nervous, I'm kind of scared, I don't know. She's saying, you can do it, just do it, come on. She's just totally like wanting him to kill himself. So, and of course the defense is saying, oh, well, she was on antidepressants and the antidepressants made her do it. You know, the Twinkie defense. I ate a Twinkie and that's why I killed my husband, whatever. So they're saying, well, since she was on antidepressants, she can't be held responsible for what she did. Now, luckily, she was only 17 when she did this, so her sentence will probably be less. She's 20 now. They just convicted her, and her sentencing is on August, I think, 3rd. So I'll be interested on what her sentence is. She could get 20 years. Most juveniles don't ever get that. I have a feeling she may get a year or two, and they'll give her probation. They're just going to give her conviction and scare her or whatever. She may not do any time, but we'll see. So the thing that I think pushed the judge over the edge to convict her was at one point the dead guy was getting out of his car and said he got a generator. He's going to start up his car. He parks his truck in a place. He's starting a generator inside, and carbon dioxide is going to fill up the truck and kill him. I don't know why he just didn't get a hose and tape it to the thing and run the hose in the window, because that seems a lot easier than getting a generator in there. But maybe a generator does it quicker. I don't know. So he's got a generator, gas generator in his car, windows up, kill himself. The defense is saying, hey, my client didn't get the generator. She didn't help him. She didn't drive him. She didn't do anything. He did all that. Well, her texts tend to encourage and promote him to do it. Every time he kind of said I was having second thoughts, she was his cheerleader saying, you can do it. Come on, just do it. Don't worry about your family. You can do this. None of that really got the judge too concerned, but I think what really got the judge concerned was, one, at one point, he got out, said it was too painful, he got out of the car in the middle of his suicide. And she texts him, get back in the car, you can do it. I'm like, what a freaking witch! Damn, if that girl had a horror, she'd be a classic barn witch. But that's another channel. Anyway, so she says, get back in the car. That caused the judge, I think, to go, you know what? Your actions were so egregious. You didn't call anybody. You didn't try to help. You didn't notify anybody. And then, after she knew he was dead, she started texting other people. Oh yeah, before he died, she also texted, make sure and erase our text messages so nobody sees them. About a week after his death, she texted one of her friends and said, man, I hope they don't get the text messages, because if they do, I'm screwed and I could go to jail. That shows she knew what she was doing, she knew it was wrong, and she knew she faced jeopardy of going to jail, and she still did it. So there was a lot of things that compounded this case. I don't like the idea of government being able to charge me because I do a YouTube video and say, you know, these freaking Muslims, I'm tired of them killing people. And now all of a sudden somebody goes out and kills a Muslim and says it's because of Rick's video. Now all of a sudden they want to come after me. Now, I don't think it's going to get, you know, unfortunately government can do what the hell they want once they got the power. So I don't think it would be that egregious, but it's a slippery slope with power. And so now this case is going to set a pretty high precedence that, you know what? What you say in text, in video, and over the phone, you don't have to be there, you don't have to participate, you don't even have to supply. Your words alone can get you put in prison. I kind of got a problem with that. Now some people may go, oh no, she ought to burn, but you know what? Look, if people want to go out and kill themselves, right now if I say all you freaking liberals ought to take the plastic bag challenge, put one over your head, and see how long you can breathe, and don't let the plastic bag till you pass out. And if all the freaking liberals died, they're going to charge me with all their murders. To me, if they're stupid enough to do that, that ain't my problem. Now, would I be convicted? Well, I doubt it. But can they charge me with this case? Who knows? I mean, government can always do what they want, and I'm always very leery of any government power or grabs, or when they start passing laws that really just not only infringe on free speech, or you can't talk, you know, I can't say a word. I'm going to cover in this other article, the UK just passed a law that it's a criminal offense if you refer to somebody with the wrong gender. So if I tell you I'm a freaking alien, half horse, half human, and I want to be called Godzilla Gorilla, and you don't call me that because that's my gender identification, you can be held criminal. I think that's freaking just PC out of control. Now it's a criminal offense if I call you a boy and you're a girl. if I call you a girl and you're a boy, if I call you a boy and you're a transgender, I mean, it's a criminal offense in the UK now because they passed some freaking law and people are cheering because they're freaking idiots. But anyway, I digress. Let me get back to the American idiots that just convicted this girl who wasn't even there over text messages. And there was one other thing, I think, her conduct was so egregious. There's a term in courts that you've heard me use before called shocks the conscience of the court. And that's any conduct that is so egregious that it's said to shock the conscience of the court. The court just kind of says, I can't believe somebody would do that. I think her behavior and her text shocked the conscience of the court, and that's why she's guilty, and that's why it'll be appealed. Because, I mean, really, you can go to jail because I tell you go ahead and kill yourself and you do it? I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying this girl's great, and I'm not saying maybe nothing should happen to her, but her going to prison because this guy's on antidepressants and he's already tried to kill himself once or was talking about it, and now she encouraged him, told him to get back in. I mean, this is one of those cases, like a lot of legal laws, you get into that muddy water and it's not really clear and you have to pick a side, and there's just so many bad things to either choice, there's really no good decision. So I just thought it was an interesting case. I'll put a link in the description to the case, and 48 Hours just ran it tonight, so I don't know if it's going to be online or whatever, but what was her name? I said it at the beginning, something Carter. I want to say Michelle Carter. But anyway, that's the case. Hopefully you guys got something out of that, and to me it's interesting how the law can suddenly... Uh-oh, I guess the Smokey gave up on his little rabbit hunt. He's like, oh shit, I'll just take a nap. I'll wait for the next rabbit to come hopping by here in a minute. All right, well, end that there.